This session is called Transforming Your SaaS Company with AI. At SaaS North, we've talked about AI before. Artificial intelligence in the enterprise really amplifies our human ingenuity and helps people do more, achieve more, and learn along the way. Yet there remains a gap between organizations that have embraced AI as a powerful lever for business acceleration and organizations that have not. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by two companies, Microsoft partners, who have embraced AI. PureFacts Financial and MediaValet are joining me today, so I'd like to take a moment and welcome them to the conversation. So Fraser, if you could introduce yourself, say hello to our audience, and maybe share a fun fact.
Awesome, thanks, Kerri. Well, super thrilled to be here representing MediaValet and our adoption of AI in our SaaS solution. So hello, everybody. I'm Fraser Charles. I'm with MediaValet as a company. The role I play there is the Director of Global Strategic Partnerships. And yeah, thanks, Kerri. Maybe I'll just share this as a fun fact. I generally try to learn something new every year. And 2 years ago, that involved learning how to ride a unicycle. I think the biggest lesson I learned, though, is that it's actually really difficult to look cool on a unicycle. And so to offset that, last year, I learned how to wheelie my mountain bike. And now all the neighborhood kids really think I'm quite something.
Very cool, Fraser. We'll have to see that one day. Yeah. And Razib, please say hello to the audience as well.
Hi, everyone. Just like Fraser, I'm really thrilled to be here and represent PureFacts Financial. As a representative of PureFacts Financial, what my role is, I'm a senior product manager. I also lead their innovation team. Fun fact about me, growing up, I used to read a lot of books, and one of my favorite books was Journey to the Center of Earth by Jules Verne. A couple of years ago, I actually had an opportunity to go to Iceland and hike the mountain that they talk about in the book, which is called Snøfellsjökull. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name in Icelandic, but that was truly a great experience for me. As I travel, I try to incorporate things that I read in book and try to visit those places. So yeah, glad to be here, glad to be part of Microsoft Partners and share our story.
Great, thanks, Razib. So not only are you both innovative pioneers in AI, but you're innovative pioneers in your daily lives, which is really cool. So for the folks joining us, our goal today, through the stories of MediaValet and PureFacts, is to showcase the power of AI and two examples of how companies are making it real. And Fraser and Razib and I hope to give you a path forward on how you can think about integrating AI into your organization, particularly now during times of sort of crisis and challenge. One quick housekeeping note, please post all questions in the Q&A. We will be actively monitoring the Q&A and happy to engage in conversation during and of course after the conversation as well. So we know that it's a complex time to do business right now. What we're seeing from our business leaders and technical leaders is that they need to respond to this crisis, but they're also using this as an opportunity to reimagine. And we're seeing AI as kind of core and central to that reimagination. Many of our customers and partners are more actively accelerating their AI journey. And we're seeing it across 4 key pillars: engaging their customers, empowering employees, helping them focus on higher value function, optimizing their operations, and transforming their products, creating customer value through AI. And so throughout this discussion, you'll hear from PureFacts and MediaValet on how they're zeroing in on some of these scenarios. So we'll start with MediaValet. So Fraser, I'll bring you back into the conversation. Maybe you could just start with sharing a little bit about MediaValet and a little bit about your company.
Yeah, thanks, Kerri. Definitely. I'll just give a quick intro here. So MediaValet is a Canadian growth stage SaaS company. We play in the B2B MarTech space. We're a team of 60, headquartered in beautiful Vancouver, Canada here. And today we are serving customers around the world. The software category that we play in, Kerri, is called Digital Asset Management, or DAM for short. And the goal of DAM, or our product, is really to help marketers organize, manage, and distribute all of their content, all of their digital content. And you can imagine that as a company grows, the number of brand assets that they're using to promote the growth of the company, so things like logos and imagery, product videos, brochures, et cetera, that's ultimately growing at a really fast pace as well. Inevitably, that the volume of that digital content that they're managing becomes quite challenging to both manage and also control how the content's being created and used. So our mission at MediaValet is really to empower marketers in enterprise organizations to do more with their digital assets and content, really across the entire life cycle, right from asset creation through to content distribution. And part of how we're doing that is by using Microsoft's Azure AI services, and we'll talk a little bit about that today.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, and it's such a cool company, and it's great that you get to live in and work in Vancouver, and have this global reach around the world, Fraser. So why do marketers care about AI? What is the use case scenario that you're solving for?
Yeah, for sure. It's a good and an important question to think about. So if you look at what we do, which is helping people manage all of their digital marketing assets so they can use them more effectively, there's a few really significant trends that are, in our opinion, driving the need for AI in a solution like DAM. So, Kerri, the first trend is just the explosion of digital content, right? There's so much content being created and consumed in the past couple decades. And I think there's quite a popular quote by Hal Varian, the chief economist at Google, where he said, between the dawn of civilization in 2003, we only created 5 exabytes of data. And now, in this day and age, we're creating that amount every 2 days. And I think that quote was actually from almost a decade ago in 2010. So when you look at that, the interesting point here for a company like MediaValet is actually the growth of unstructured data. So that rich media content, the photos, the videos, and the audio versus the structured data. And if you look at, in aggregate, all of that data being produced over the past decade, you can really see a trend that 90% of that data is actually unstructured. So it's one of the key trends driving the need for AI is just this huge amount of growth in the data that we're producing. The second trend is the type of media being used. And in 2017, Wise Owl ran a survey and found that 63% of businesses were using video as a marketing tool. Fast forward, and by last year, that number had increased to 87%, so almost a 25% increase. So in addition to this massive content, there's actually this tremendous surge in businesses leveraging video as a medium to connect with their brand and customers as well. And the third trend on the right-hand side of the slide is really just market expectations simply. We can see that AI is here. A recent Gartner survey showed that 80% of companies have implemented some form of AI. So then when you as a SaaS vendor go out and engage with the market, at some level, they're going to expect that your solution helps them leverage AI as well. And so if you back up and say, okay, these trends are in place, what does that mean? So trend number one really creates this customer challenge of how do I enable my creative and marketing team to find the perfect assets for a campaign in a library of millions of assets, right? And trend number two creates the challenge of how do I search through hours and hours of video for a 10-second clip with the specific scene or actor or logo that I need for this highlight reel my team's trying to produce. So those are really the use cases, and AI helps us solve that for the customer by providing them with a tool that they can use to efficiently and accurately index their assets so that their teams can quickly search and surface the assets that are relevant for them and take advantage of that to create engaging content. And then, Kerri, maybe I can show a specific example here of what it looks like for the customer to get the benefit of using AI in DAM. And then I'll talk a little bit about our journey of infusing AI into MediaValet as well. So, and thanks for switching the slide there. So we started our own journey to infuse MediaValet with AI a few years ago. And I think it bears saying that MediaValet was built cloud native on Azure Platform as a Service back in 2010. And that made a huge difference for us. So being a Microsoft partner since day one, there's always been tremendous support for our team to adopt new Azure services into our product like AI. Excuse me. And I think that, adding any new features or services to your product as a SaaS vendor, you can think of it as there being a spectrum. And at the light end, you can get something small, but maybe really still impactful for your customers done really quickly and at relatively low cost. So, ultimately what we want to do is we want to figure out if it works and then move further along the spectrum to do more if you get that positive response from your customer. So with AI at MediaValet, we wanted to move really quickly. And that meant that we would start by applying AI to images. And that's what you can kind of see on the slide here in front of you. So what you see here on the right-hand side is the information, or the metadata as we call it, that we're using Azure Computer Vision APIs to generate and apply to every image asset upon upload into MediaValet by the user. And so this includes from the top down object recognition, color recognition, and text recognition. So without any human intervention at all, you've now got all of this really descriptive metadata tied to each asset, and against which we can run a really quick and accurate search for the user to grab what they need for their current project. And then compare that to historically, the task of tagging each of these individual assets with that data has always been done manually. And so you can imagine the time savings a customer can realize when they're trying to work with a digital library at scale. And one of the, I'll just share this, but one of the really cool memories that I've got associated with launching our first AI-powered offering was the hackathon at the MediaValet office. We're not in there these days, but when we were, that was led by the Microsoft Azure AI team coming up and joining us in Vancouver. And it was awesome. In less than a day and a half, the team had a working POC of demonstrating the value of AI within MediaValet. And I'd also say there's one other important thing to consider as a smaller company when you're making these decisions to implement something like AI into your product. What's the support offered to partners by the platform vendor that you're considering? And so the impact we've found of that support can really add up to meaningful results in the form of things like time to get your product to market, technical assistance, and then also important things like optimizing your costs.
Yeah, that's great, Fraser. Like, kudos to your team too, because you had sort of the vision, the talent, you made the investment in your people, and combined that with really great partnerships to bring this to life. And I know you have, many big and small customers leveraging this to empower their employees, save time, drive efficiencies, and add a ton of value. So just in closing with MediaValet, I'm curious, what is next for you and your company?
Yeah, really good question. And I like that you pulled out, the spectrum of customers that we're serving. And I should note, it's just so imperative. The AI is imperative for those larger customers where they're dealing with these true mountains of data. So that's where, and I'll just make a statement right at the end of this slide about that and sort of how critical it is for us. But to start with, in terms of what's next, I think it's super important to really understand not only the current needs of your customer, but also what their needs are likely going to be in a year or two within the context of those bigger trends we talked about that are driving their use of your product. And for us, how we're thinking about moving further along that spectrum of infusing more AI into MediaValet based on our customers' needs, it really revolves around two things. Number one is enabling customers to do more with their video assets. We can see the growth of that type of content and we need to respond. Number two is enabling customers to assign more business context specific metadata using customized and trainable machine learning models via Azure. And so with regards to the video assets, in the very near future, we'll be launching full capability for customers to index all of their video assets in a really, really sophisticated manner that's not available today, using things like facial recognition and keyword analysis, object and optical character recognition, keyframe recognition, things like these. And then on top of that, each video asset is going to be indexed according to the audio track using speech recognition. So this is super powerful because if you think about, not only now can the user immediately surface the right video asset within MediaValet, they're going to be able to dive in and navigate really, really quickly to that specific point of interest within that video. So there's kind of an extra layer of search that we're adding through using AI. And the beauty is that this is a service all just provided on Azure, and we simply need to surface it as a widget within our product. So very quick to actually expose that value to the customer. And then to point number 2, Kerri, we've been receiving more and more requests from customers that they want to start doing really, really cool, innovative things with AI. So leverage custom facial recognition, specific product recognition, like the make and model of cell phones that you see on the right-hand side of the slide here. And even recognizing specific dance moves within video footage for ballet companies. And to deliver some of these services to customers on the required timing, it's forced us to think a bit differently. And now we're creating partnerships with other Microsoft partners that have strong data and AI practices around Azure Custom Vision. So we're seeing this really cool synergy in being part of this global Microsoft partner ecosystem that we're plugged into as a SaaS vendor, but it also includes these expert service providers and integrators that we can really easily connect with when needed to extend how we're adding value to our customers with our product, including AI. And just the final thing I'd mention, Kerri, is around, every SaaS company here attending SaaS North, they're looking to driving more revenue. For us, there's a key opportunity here that AI is unlocking as a SaaS company, and that's really, things like the video indexing capability that we'll be launching. It's a total game changer in the space, and it represents a really well-defined upsell package opportunity for us because it's so differentiated. But then even if you take a step back, just generally being able to leverage AI to efficiently and accurately index all of our customers' digital libraries comprising millions of assets, it really allows us to kind of crack open that real enterprise market segment. And that has obviously obvious revenue implications for us as a company.
Yeah, great, Fraser. Thank you so much for sharing the story of MediaValet and your journey. It's really powerful, and hopefully for the folks listening, this will also give you ideas on how you might be able to take some of these scenarios and apply them to your business, to your solutions, and to your models. Transitioning now to PureFacts. So Razib, PureFacts has also been on an incredible journey over the past few years. Same start for you. Maybe you could start by sharing a little bit more about PureFacts and your journey, and then we can get into the specifics of your AI solution.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Kerri. And as you mentioned, we have been in a journey for the last 10 years. So a little bit about PureFacts, who we are. We were founded back in 2010 by our fearless leader, Robert Madich, as a SaaS organization. We provide products that focus on billing and reporting solution for the wealth management industry. We have about 63 people, and it literally feels like we're adding more and more people every day as we continue to grow. We are located in beautiful Toronto, but we also do have offices in UK and US as well. Our typical client that we serve, think about it this way, the wealth division of a large bank. So like in Canada would be the top 5, all the way to a boutique firm who provides that hand glove service to the high net worth or the ultra high net worth organization. Fun fact about us, we were a fully bootstrapped organization up until a few weeks ago. As of 2 weeks ago, we have taken on 3 well-known investors to continue to help us grow. The journey of the
PureFacts on that. That's great,
yeah.
Razib.
It was great, yeah, and they're going to be very hands-on, which we're really excited about, Kerri. Yeah. PureFacts' journey is a little different than I feel like the other SaaS companies that you might hear. Though we were founded in 2010, Rob, our founder, actually had a company called LinksDev prior to 2010, which was established in 1996. So for 14 years, we were very much focused on being a custom solution provider for the wealth organization. In 2010, the primary reason we decided to start transforming our organization into a SaaS type organization, solely because Rob believes in customer first. And in order to execute on that value proposition while scaling, we realized that we really need to change that approach. So our journey to SaaS organization began in 2010. As we continue to grow and add more and more Canadian clients and US clients into our portfolio, we realized that in order to provide that superior client experience and the expectation of the clients to meet them, we needed to start transitioning into the cloud-based solution. And again, Microsoft has been a partner with us on that transformation as well. So that journey began back in 2014, and in 2016 we launched our first cloud platform, which is called Pure Wealth. Fast forward a year in 2017, AI was a really hot topic. Everybody was kind of getting into it. So we thought, why not? So we had our first attempt to kind of start looking into AI to transform our business. Long story short, ultimately that didn't go in the direction we wanted to, but the learnings we had from that had carried on. 2019 is when we truly started to looking at AI again and started reinvesting in it. One of the first things we did in 2019 was we purchased a small AI consultancy called Electric Brain. The purpose of that organization was not to do a consulting business, rather bring in those assets, those resources, those learning to accelerate our AI growth. Same year, we actually had launched a dedicated AI team who was solely focused on creating AI solutions, net new for the wealth management industry, as well as features that will augment our existing solution. Again, that's when I came in, and it was really an exciting time. Microsoft was a great partner for us, kind of guiding us. Also, we've been part of programs that help us truly understand how to bring that into the market. There's few highlights. So in 2020, the biggest highlights for us was we were actually able to launch our platform, Insights as a Service. This is an AI-based platform that uses a lot of Microsoft services. We have continued to grow inorganically as well. We have purchased a couple of the organizations to continue on our path to data and insights. We purchased a company called Cascades Financial, which brings in retirement insights within our organization. And we also purchased a company out of Boston called Venn Science, who were truly a partner of Salesforce. So now we have the ability to understand and ingest Salesforce data into our platform as well.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, go ahead, Razib, sorry.
No, there's a couple of things I wanted to highlight. So it's been a truly 2020. I know it's COVID, but for us, it's truly been an exciting year. There's three things I wanted to point out. So this year, we were named one of the top 100 innovative company in the world by Wealth-Tech 100, and I believe there were about 1,200 companies that were in the running. So that was amazing news for us. Also, we were the finalists for the commercial impact category for Microsoft Inspire Award. Though we didn't win, we feel like this is a great recognition. And lastly, we were chosen as one of the top 15 innovative companies in Canada by Microsoft this year as well. And again, in the midst of COVID, I think that as an organization of 63 people, we've been able to achieve a lot.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're such a great company with visionaries, and then also people who can actually, like we talked about, make it real. So it's a great balance. What was the tipping point for you, Razib, to make that investment in AI and fundamentally make it part of your strategy?
Yeah, for sure. I think all the attendees here, I'm pretty sure they're already in the path or kind of sort of thinking about it. The tipping point for us is we really like to stay connected to the market that we are in, as well as our clients. Starting in 2018, we began to see a little bit of shift in that landscape. And the catalyst for that was the new generation actually entering into the wealth management, the new investor, the millennials, the Gen X, whatever you're gonna call them. And they were no longer looking for just the performance of their portfolio. What they were demanding from the wealth managers or the investment managers is, I want you to provide a holistic advice for me so I can live a better life. That truly started shifting the value proposition in the wealth management industry. So it became shifting from transactional to what I would say more of a holistic advice. Like, I need to understand my client better. I need to proactively reach out to them and provide advice or guidance. This is where the market was going. And this is where we found AI would play a huge role in it. In order for the wealth management organization to thrive in this climate, companies started to invest in AI, but not necessarily really that well. So for us, the important thing was, how can we help? So there's a saying around the office that we use that AI is not there to replace all advisor, just those that do not use it. And by that, what I mean is there's no way you can replace, as an organization, you can replace the advisor intelligence. But what you can do is help them get access to better insights, which helps them make better decisions with artificial intelligence. If you go to the next slide, I'll talk about some of the challenges what we have seen within the organization. So as our clients, as early as 2018, as they began to start adopting AI, they were running into a lot of challenges. A great report by BCG was published this year, and another report by EY last year, which highlighted that there were 6 problems right now the companies are trying to overcome in order to implement AI into their organization. The first one being data. As Fraser mentioned, the data game has obviously elevated over the last 20 years, so they have abundance of that. So as an organization, you need to invest in a data strategy, data management strategy. What do you do? Furthermore, as you think about it, now you need to establish an AI team. Which resources do you bring in? Do you go hire machine learning experts, data engineers? How much money is that going to take? For a small organization or even a big organization, funding is a key, especially times right now. So how much money do I want to invest and how do I prioritize that? Furthermore, as you start thinking about what problem to solve for, where do you get started? How do you make sure this is the right problem to solve? And then adoption for AI or any new technology is always a barrier. So as an organization, you always kind of thinking maybe this is not the right time because the adoption might not be there. And the last one is explainability. People still struggle to explain AI if you're not in the in the tech industry or not a data scientist. So ultimately, what we found through our research that 66 of any of the project that has launched from 2018 and on in the wealth management industry didn't reach the desired ROI. And that kind of really puts a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth, and they don't necessarily go back. And I think this is where PureFacts can come in and help organization. And we've been able to help organization this year. So if you go to the next slide, I'll talk a little more about our Insights as a Service solution. What Insights as a Service solution does is allow advisors to get insights around their book, how to operate their business, more importantly, about their clients. And for the wealth organization, what it truly does is help them de-risk any early investment and increase their time to market. So they're able to leverage AI solution fairly quickly without having to figure out their data strategy, resources, adoption strategy, and things like that. Insights as a Service has 2 parts to it. On the back end, which I call it, it's our data aggregation platform, and that's on Azure. So we use different services from Azure to build that aggregation platform. And what it does, it takes in data from different sources, such as custodians, portfolio management system, CRM system, as well as the market. And it puts them all into one, let's call it a data hub. From there, we have built a automated feature generation capability. So people in machine learning will understand that. What this feature generation capability does is extracts the data that we need in order to do the prediction. And for the prediction, we have already pre-built machine learning models. So as a client who comes into us, they don't have to worry about waiting 3, 4, 6, in 12 months to get access to the models. We have already worked to build that out. That in a nutshell is what Insights as a Service does.
Yeah, that's such an interesting solution. And I love how you've sort of framed up a little bit about the solution and the back end to give our audience some insights into how you make it real. I think we're pretty close to end of time here. I know, Razib, you had some learnings to share, but what we can do is post those back out to the audience following. Both you and Fraser have shared, many of the key learnings around, focusing on the problem, aligning, and building partnerships, which has been great. In closing, I wanted to thank MediaValet and PureFacts for sharing your stories. I'm sure the folks listening have been inspired by what you're doing and how you're really making it real, adding value to your customers and really accelerating out of this period. And it's just also great to hear Canadian success stories and how companies in our country are really global leaders, both from a technology perspective and a solution perspective.
Thanks for having me
so much, Fraser and Razib.
Thank you for having us, Kerri. Thank you.